So, welcome to Caroline and Jezza's problem page. Do-do-do. This is an internet sensation where people send in problems either to this address or via other addresses, and we examine them and comment. And without further ado, off we go. Carolina is going to read the first letter from...
Here we go. Now this one is from Lizzie. And she says, I'm very fond of my boyfriend. The trouble is he has a close friend who's gay, who I'm now fantasizing about and really fancying him. My gay friend is such a vivid masculine personality that although I hate to say it, my boyfriend seems boring in comparison. What's going on here and what on earth can I do about it? I daren't tell either of them about what I'm feeling because I fear I'll end up with neither. I was wondering if my gay friend might actually be bisexual or actually not gay at all. He's very flirty with me and pretty tactile too.
Right. Well, there we have it. And I'll come in straight away and say, what am I going to say? Well, in some ways, it's often all women's fantasies. I know it's probably very incorrect to say this, but when they have a gay friend that they can, in inverted commas, convert them to the heterosexual cause.
Can I just interrupt there? I'm so sorry, but I thought that fantasy was the other way around, that it was men wanted to convert gay women, but I guess it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other.
No, I've never heard that ever. Yes. Well, anyway, I think what's happening here is that she says that she's in danger, maybe she's in danger of losing them both. And I would have thought that's possibly true. I don't know, but it sounds like it, that if she, that's the sort of karma of these things, that the boyfriend goes off with the gay friend and they never talk to the girl again. But maybe that's a bit harsh. We turn now to an expert on these subjects, Carolina.
Well, obviously she's seeing things about the gay guy that she really likes and is missing in her relationship with the boyfriend. And she's then thinking, is everything she wants in this other guy? So therefore, blah, blah. But basically, I think she needs to look back at her own relationship with the boyfriend and see what she is truly missing there, identify that and work out whether or not he is for her. Now, as for the gay friend, well, if he's gay, he's gay, but maybe he is bisexual. Maybe there is a true connection there, but that doesn't mean that they have to be romantic partners. They could be good mates. And well, what do you think, Jeremy, then?
Yeah, I mean, what's so wrong with that? I mean, lots of gay guys have very, very close female friends, vice versa. Even now, it's sort of like, I think everything has changed so much in the last 5-10 years. All of these sort of boundaries and stigmas and all that is all gone in a way. And, people have permission to do a lot more things than they ever did. But there is something about this that sort of makes me think, it's sort of slightly idle speculation, and it could take her into dangerous territory. I mean, you could just see it. So I don't know, that's me. So Lizzie, good luck, but listen to Carolina, what she's got to say. Shall I go on to the next letter? The next letter is from somebody called Laura. And Laura says, Dear Jezza and Caroline, I am 17 and feel so miserable and torn. I've just discovered completely by chance that my dad's having an affair. I was numb with shock when I found out, and I don't know what to do with this horrible knowledge. I have told him I know, and I'm sure Mum is completely unaware. I feel so sorry for her. I'm disgusted with my dad and am desperate to confront him, but I don't really know what to do for the best. I can't keep it to myself much longer. Laura. Gosh, well, that's quite a big thing, isn't it?
For her. What a nightmare for her. And I don't think she should keep it to herself. She's got to talk to a tried and trusted person about this as soon as humanly possible. What do you think, Jezza? I mean, there's lots to say about this.
Well, I would have said that I think that's a great responsibility for somebody of that age, you know. I mean, of course it happens. Yeah, I think it's very, you know, she doesn't really say how she knows. Very difficult. I think she has to talk to somebody about it. There's no doubt about that, and talk to somebody who's utterly trustworthy, who's not going to go and betray her or, you know, the confidence, but can be someone to help her. I mean, in a way, it's putting a hell of a lot on her. And I've not been in this situation myself, so I don't know. I think it's I think the most important thing is that she has someone to talk to and to help her and to keep her in good shape, and then you know, then they can make a move from there.
I totally agree. And I mean, and as you say, you know, whoever she chooses, they must be somebody very, very trustworthy. And she could, of course, again, I don't want to put the weight of this on her, if you know what I mean. We want to help her deal with this terrible weight that's been put upon her shoulders. She could actually call someone like Relate or some helpline, or you know, that she.
Well, yeah, there are things, aren't there, like Childline.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely something I'm sure we could send her that is a confidential helpline for people who are.
We will definitely write to her personally.
Yeah.
Because yeah, she does. She needs all the support she can get. I'm just having a quick look at the letter again. I was going to say, yeah, and of course we don't know whether this is a one-off with the dad or whether it's a regular occurrence. I mean, whether he's had affairs before or whether this is a one and only affair. We don't know.
It sounds like that, doesn't it? It sounds like it's not a regular thing. That is, I found completely by chance that my dad's having an affair.
Yes, but I mean, if he was anything like my father had many affairs, to the point whereby my mother, it stopped hurting. So, right. You know, and they broke up eventually. She said, I can't be doing with this anymore.
But what about you then? If you were in this situation, if you when you were 14 years old?
She's 17. She's 17.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm looking at letter 14. Okay. Well, what would you do?
I think I would take the advice we suggested, which is to find somebody very trustworthy that she can confide in, and let her know that she's not alone with this.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, we've done that. Good luck, Laura. And the next letter Shall I read this? My wife left me for my best mate, and I feel absolutely shattered. At 43, I'm now all alone and have to stomach the pain of my 3 kids living with the pair of them. The children stay with me every weekend, which is what keeps me going. I feel so incredibly lonely the rest of the time. The 2 people I shared everything with, my wife and my best friend, are no longer available to me. I feel utterly betrayed by them both. And also I feel I've no one to talk to. Now I'm now having serious thoughts about some serious harm that might come to them. Oh, right. Mike. Okay. Thoughts, Carolina?
Well, he needs to allow his feelings, but of course, acting on them is a completely different thing. And I'm hoping he's not suggesting revenge, because as we know, if you seek revenge, you dig 2 graves. I feel very, very sorry for him. A nightmare, the double betrayal, you know, your partner and the best friend, absolute nightmare. And sadly, all too common. You know, and it's such devastation, because if it had been one or the other, you would have talked to the other one about what was going on. So, you know,
but I mean, it seems, as you say, it's very, very common, and it's weird that it's so common. And it's often because the best mate is at home, you know, supporting the wife, whilst the husband, the other part of the best mate, is away, you know, on a rugby tour, working, or, you know, whatever. And uno leads to duo, leads to tres.
Exactly. And sometimes more than tres.
Indeed, indeed. But you do think to yourself, slightly in this situation, why has this happened? You know, Mike, why has it happened? It's not all their fault and that they've betrayed you. Oh, she's not buying that one. No. All right. Well, okay. You can say what I'm trying to say is that, well, maybe we need another letter from Mike explaining the circumstances.
Well,
but
years ago, Jamie, I wrote a book called Caught in the Act.
Oh, yeah.
Study of infidelity from all 3 sides of the triangle. And of course, everyone has a part to play at some form or another. But these 2 going off together does not mean he's done something wrong. He may have done something wrong, but that's not a given that he's done.
Yes.
He may have done something wrong, and they may have thought, you know, he's a waste of space, let's run off into the sunset together. But he may not have done anything wrong. The marriage could have been tired and this, that, and the other. The other thing that has to come to mind with this, because it happens, it's not rare, this scenario, is that the number one reason given for having an affair is opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point. But it strikes me that as we are doing a problem page, and Mike has written in that we really must address his problem, and what his problem seems to be is that he feels betrayed. He probably feels very angry, and he feels extremely lonely,
and very
and therefore, you know, what he's got to do is to accept the situation, annoyingly and you know, unkind and awful as it is, you know, unless he thinks he can get her back. But 9 times out of 10 you can't in those situations. So he's got to accept that, and then he's got to deal with what's going on in him rather than take it out on somebody else.
Mm.
And go, okay, I'm bloody lonely. Well, what can I do about it? You know, I mean, you know, will you go and meet old friends? You join a club, you go to the pub, you do, there are groups, for people who are in this situation. I mean, I know there are widow groups, and I know it sounds a bit boring, but if you're widowed and you're young, I know somebody who was widowed at 42, and he joined a group. What?
And he met his new love there, didn't he?
No, he didn't. No,
Oh,
no,
somebody else. Sorry.
no. Could you put your finger on the buzzer when you want to interrupt? And no, what he did do there was he met lots of people in a similar way, and it really, really helped. And I think, these situations are very tricky, because the longer you allow them to fester, I'm on my own all the week, so I don't get the kids until the weekend, they're all of this stuff. That is where it does get dangerous. And you have to actually stop that and focus on right, I'm not going to be lonely. I'm not going to be the loser in this. I'm not going to be the victim, and maybe, it's a question of whether it's for him to understand this. When they got married, maybe there was an imbalanced situation there, and she gave away lots of stuff and went, oh, it'll be all right, But as soon as Mr. Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, James Bond, comes along, she's going, hello, I'm very nice, and I'm not available, but believe me, I could be. And because my husband's so boring. I don't know. I mean, I'm very sympathetic to Mike, as we both are. So you've got to get talking to some people. It's the same bloody thing, isn't it? Shall we try and do the last one, and then
let's do that thing.
Okay.
Shall I do that one?
Yes, that would be delightful.
This yes, I really resonate with this one. I've had 2 appalling dates in the last month, and I could weep. Man number 1 asked me to the cinema, and then after the film, he marched me straight to the nearest cash point, not near at all, and stood over me while I got the money out for my ticket. He then asked to see me again. Man number 2 asked me out to dinner. The restaurant was a dump, but I went along with it politely. However, we had hardly got out of the door when he pounced, and then assumed he'd be staying the night with me. Needless to say, I saw neither of them again, but I'm left feeling so despairing of finding a man who knows how to behave. Ella.
Ella means come in Greek.
Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't mean come like that. It means come on, come over. Yeah.
Does it?
Ella. Yeah, it means that.
Well.
That's very interesting, isn't it?
Very.
Well, I would think you have a lot to say about this, so I'll get in first.
Okay.
I think this is a very interesting letter, because I think it's very topical and contemporary. And Mike could have written this letter, from a reverse POV, but he hasn't yet. I think it's very interesting, because in a way you can see it and you think, God, how could anybody behave like that? Mark, send me to a cash point. Really? I mean, that's just disgraceful. What I think 2 things. One, life is about trying to make good choices, and informed choices, informed decisions. And I think that's what we have to try and do. And if we sort of think, oh, I don't know, maybe this is a bit of a dodgepot, then don't do it. It's better to have a night with you know, Russell Grant, Hugh Grant, Terry Grant, Cary Grant on the telly. But you know, what I think is interesting about this is that I think in some ways the tables have turned a little bit nowadays, and that, you know, many women are doing the asking, you know, are you dancing, you know, and so I think it, you know, I think women are in a, I think men have to make a bit more effort. And I feel very sorry for people, for men actually, who find it difficult, who are very shy and awkward and don't have all the social graces. I really do feel very sorry for them, and, you know, almost should set up a, you know, a sort of academy of how to do it. I think that would be a great thing, actually.
Perhaps we should do that, Jeremy.
I know. Well, I'm going straight from here to do that. But, you know, I think that women now are much more assertive, and I think they're much more sort of, no, I don't think I want to do that. Thanks very much. That food is, I'm not going to that disgusting restaurant. And I'm not saying it, you know, because of course it's all very difficult, but I think, you know, we all have just to learn how to behave better all the way around, all the way around. Over to you, Carolina.
Well, thank you, Jezza, for those wise words, wise words. Now, I would say to poor Bellarella that don't give up hope. And yes, trust your instincts. And when in doubt, leave it out. And, you know, I mean, she would love to meet somebody lovely, which I totally identify with. And it's the old thing, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs, you know, before you meet the prince. And not that you have to kiss the frogs, but, you know what I mean.
Yes, sorry, can I just interrupt there and just say that maybe it's a question of choosing your pond rather carefully.
Very good idea. Very, very good idea. Now, all these dating apps that millions of people are on, and, you know, they all say things like, you've got to be in it to win it. I mean, the old advice that I used to give in my agony column, you know, was join something that you love doing anyway, something you're interested in anyway, because then you're going to enjoy whatever the activity it is, and you will meet like-minded people.
Yeah. And
I think that still applies. So I'm now going to be joining some writers' groups.
Well, I think I would think, you know, that, you know, it's a very important thing, I think. It's a mistake that many of us have made, can make, where you go to an unsuitable pond, where unsuitable people live. And you think, well, yeah, but my other friend goes there. And then you're really not really thinking that friend isn't that great either. But you know, everyone does it, don't they? And it's sort of, you know, well, there is a sort of thing, isn't there? There's a thing that if you want to go to, you know, get a haircut, you know, don't go to the pub. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But I think it's terribly difficult, and I think that, you know, it needs honesty from people who go, well, actually, I have, you know, traversed the dating, you know, websites, and I've been to hell and back, and, you know, I was made to buy my own popcorn, you know, by using a banker's draft, you know, all these things. And now I've met Doreen Deneuve, and we're all blissfully happy, sort of our crap. But we need that person to say what they learned.
Absolutely.
And I think you're probably absolutely right that the big deal is to trust your instincts. You know, think of the, you know, think for the best, but trust your instincts.
And also, very important, I think, don't project onto that date things that you'd like them to have, because what you know.
What do you mean by that?
So, you may in your mind want somebody who's A, B, C, D, E, F, and you know, and say you want, say for instance, say a woman who's had unreliable men and she wants a reliable man this time with all the qualities she wants, including reliable.
Yeah.
So she may meet, because this is what actually happened to me in the past. I then met a man who seemed very reliable. And I'd had a very unreliable one before. He seemed very reliable. And I thought, oh, if he says 8 o'clock, he means 8 o'clock, right? Unlike the other one.
Yeah.
So then I thought I could sort of layered things on, other things on him that I'd like him to have. But they weren't actually there at all. Do you know what I mean? So yes, he had some very good basics, but he
was reliable.
One of them being reliable, but in some ways
he was punctual.
In some ways, yeah. But then, you know, it turned out that he didn't have some of the other things that were absolutely necessary to me, like loyalty, like believing in the truth. You know.
Oh, all right. Small things.
Vital fundamentals that were missing.
Yeah. Well, but I think, so that's an interesting point. Don't project what you want onto somebody else. But the difficulty is you've got to understand what that means, because, you know, you can go, well, look, I am looking for the following things in someone. So we need to get that sort of straightened out, really. Otherwise.
And also make them things that really, really matter to you, because really, really matter to you, you know. So if you've had, say, a disastrous relationship and you do not want to repeat that, you're going to be very aware of not wanting to repeat certain things. But also, you know, get in touch with what was really, really important to you in someone, in a relationship. And you know, hold on to that. And
yes, but you have to be careful saying that, don't you? Because somebody could go, oh, I see, you're talking about Doreen again. I mean, isn't that true? You can't, you know, if you sort of say, you know, the thing is, I love having a right old laugh, and to be quite frank, you know, my last girlfriend, you know, oh, she was such a cracking laugh. And you may find that the new girlfriend goes, I wonder if we can not talk about Doreen anymore. So I don't know. What do I know? I'm only one half of this.
I think you should start your academy.
Yes.
We could both. We could do this because they've got a wise man and a wise woman with life experience to help them, yes, get it all sussed out.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. They can all come to the Shed Academy.
The Shed Academy.
Shed. Anyway, I think we have actually way over time now. So it'll be very interesting to see what could be edited on this. Probably this last 2 points, I would think, but never mind. Who knows? And
we are here for anybody who needs us.
Yes. Have you got a PO box address or an email or you know?
We must do that.
Yes, because that's probably going to be quite needed.
Yeah.
Necessary. And you can probably get a Facebook or a YouTube address, whatever, but and you can. But Anyway, it's been absolutely wonderful and really very good to share this time with you. And
it's been great. I think we'll make a very good agony aunt and uncle team.
yes, I think maybe we can have a niece and a nephew involved. All right.